Hey guys, how you doing? This is Celeste and I am filming my first YouTube video in a really long while. We could go into why there were delays, but let's not waste our time. Instead, what I want to do this evening is just kind of on the fly, have a little conversation about spiritual growth, spiritual awakening, and this card, the High Priestess. This is the High Priestess card. It's really reflective. This is the High Priestess card from the Moon Power Tarot deck that you can get via Six Sad Girls on Instagram. I love it. The artwork is really unique and amazing. But the High Priestess is this amazing Major Arcana card of occult knowledge, hidden secret information that you can access by going inside. Oftentimes people will kind of correlate the High Priestess to her male counterpart in the tarot, the Hierophant or the High Priest, the Pope. Oftentimes she can be called the Popess in certain decks. And I've also seen her married to the Magician, so she's kind of living between those realms. She's the feminine side of those energies. And as such, she is the natural, organic, intuitive side of occult knowledge. If the Hierophant is authority and learning through systems and structures, then the High Priestess is learning in a more internal way, learning through dreams, learning through meditation, leading your own sort of spiritual awakening. And this card came up today as my daily pull for my Instagram followers. And I had a little bit of a discussion with them about what this card means to me, but I wanted to make a video about it as well. Because something that's coming up a lot in my personal practice is this deep, deep frustration with spiritual and energetic and psychic experiences. You know, if you have a weird experience, if you're going through a spiritual awakening or a witchy awakening, then you're going to have things happen that are inexplicable. You're going to have personal experiences that other people don't witness, that other people don't understand necessarily. And it's going to feel kind of insanity inducing. You know, things will happen that make you question whether you're losing your marbles a little bit. And certainly when I've had those experiences, and I'm going through sort of an additional awakening now, so I'm having a lot of those experiences, all I want is for someone to look me in the eye and tell me, you're not crazy, this is what that means, here's what's happening, and here's what you should do about it. Because that's how we solve problems in the outside world and the material world. If we have an experience and we don't understand it, then we get help processing it. And we have somebody else tell us what it means. You know, if you're sick, if you have an infection, or you're having a weird symptom, you go see a doctor, and the doctor kind of tells you what it means in an ideal world and how to treat it and what to do with it. But in the spiritual realm, we do have people who have more knowledge than us oftentimes. There are spiritual leaders and spiritual counselors and energetic workers that we can turn to. But I would argue that nobody but you can really answer the question, what does this mean? And that's aggravating. It's really irritating oftentimes to not have somebody to hold your hand through that. I bring this up as well because it's certainly an experience I've had lately, that frustration of not being able to see far enough forward and getting aggravated with my guides and my personal process, that it's not going faster, that it's not clearer to me. But it's also come up a lot for clients who have come to see me. I have a lot of clients or people who come into the places that I work who want me to tell them if they're crazy, if what they're experiencing is genuine or real, and if so, what it means, like what's going on. They want me to give them the kind of black and white, clear-cut answer. And the sad part about that is, even if I could do that, I don't want to do that for my clients. It's important to me that people go through that journey and that process by themselves. I'm very cautious about how much information or what kind of guidance I give, because I think the personal process of figuring that out, of piecing that together, weaving that tapestry, that's what spiritual awakening is. That's what spiritual work is. You're supposed to do it yourself. In most incarnations of the High Priestess card, certainly in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. She's holding a set of keys, she's holding a manuscript, and she has, this beautiful sort of diadem, this crown on her head. And the idea, to me at least, is you have the keys. You have what you need to do that work. You just have to have faith in yourself and trust yourself. Spiritual work is personal, deeply personal. Even if you're working within a system, even if you're working within a tradition, even if you're initiated into a tradition and you do have people that you can talk to for advice or for counsel who can lead you through to a certain degree, at the end of the day, it still comes down to you. What are you experiencing? What does it mean to you? And how can you thread it all together to figure out your path, to figure out your purpose? And a great example of this oftentimes is dreams. I get a lot of people asking me to decode their dreams for them and give them the answers, the definitive answers to what it all means. But dream symbolism is personal. There are like 9,000 books at Barnes & Noble that you can buy that will give you like a dictionary guide to what these things mean if they appear in your dreams. But that's just going off cultural context, it's going off social context, it's going off a collective unconscious of what we feel or think when we see an image. The idea that a lion is brave or a snake is cunning, those kinds of things. But at the end of the day, that's a part of the puzzle, but so is personal meaning. If you grew up and your dad worked in the zoo and ran a reptile house and you have fond childhood memories of handling the snakes, then your association with a snake, if it pops up in your dream, is going to be very different than the average person. So no one else can really answer those things for you. They can guide you. They can give you a little more information. Of course, you can get readings or seek spiritual counsel from a religious leader or, the head of a certain tradition, whatever you feel comfortable with. And yeah, that'll definitely give you a little bit more insight and knowledge. You can read books, you can study, you can do that kind of work. But the internal work is important too. I'm really hesitant of shortcuts spiritually. And I find myself wanting to take them all the time because I don't have 10,000 years to be on this planet and answer these questions. The universe is moving at its own pace, but I might only have, 30, 40 more years on this planet. So I want it done. I want to solve the problem and I want to figure out what it all means. Like now. I'm very impatient about it. And I think a lot of people are. Maybe you can kind of relate to that too. But you have to trust yourself. That's a big part of the reason that we have these experiences, that we see things and dream things and find synchronicities in our lives popping up, that we have weird energetic experiences, that we see spirits, that we go through things that we can't explain to other human beings. The purpose is to figure it out on your own and to learn to trust your intuition and trust your internal framework for creating meaning. So I just wanted to share that with you today. There's a whole nother rant I could give on why I think it's important to do the internal work first and to start looking for external answers or guidance once you've kind of already got an idea of what you have going on. We can talk later about spiritual, predation, predators in the community who want to give you the answer, usually for a large amount of money, and how that can lead to disastrous situations. But at the end of the day, all I wanted to deliver tonight was this concept of trusting your intuition, being your own high priestess, leading yourself down that rabbit hole. It is important to have community. It is important to have people you can trust with your story, other people to bounce things off of. But if you're looking for a quick fix, if you're looking for a black and white answer, if you're looking for someone else to do the work for you, then you're not really ready to go on a spiritual journey. You don't go to college and take a college class and expect your professor to write your papers for you. You have to do the work. The professor is there as a guide, and that's how I think it should function in the spiritual community. your tarot card reader, your psychic, your Reiki healer, your leader of your magical study group or your coven. That person should be acting in a teaching and guiding capacity. They should not be promising to give you the answer. Only you can answer the question. So it's a lot of pressure and responsibility, but I think it's also pretty badass and empowering. I leave you with that today. I'm basically just lecturing myself at this point, so hopefully it resonates with you as well. But I hope you have a wonderful evening, week, year, lifetime, and I will see you on the flip side.